In Mark chapter 1, verse 43, we find a moment of intense significance, one that demands our full attention. The text says, "And he strictly warned him and sent him away at once." These words may appear straightforward, but they are charged with profound meaning, revealing the authority and seriousness of our Lord Jesus Christ. Here, Jesus had just performed a miraculous healing, cleansing a leper, a man who was not only physically afflicted, but also ritually unclean, ostracized from society and cut off from the worship of God. The leper's plea, "If you are willing, you can make me clean," was met with Christ's compassion and power as he touched the untouchable and declared, "I am willing, be cleansed." But what follows immediately after, the strict warning and the urgency with which Jesus sent the man away, demands our careful reflection. Why did Jesus, who had just shown such tenderness, now issue a stern command? The key lies in understanding the divine order and the purpose behind Christ's miracles. Jesus was not merely a healer, he was the Messiah, the one sent to fulfill the will of the Father. His miracles were not to be trivialized or turned into spectacles for public curiosity. They were signs pointing to his messianic identity, his authority over sin and sickness, and his mission to seek and save the lost. By sending the man away with a strict warning, Jesus was asserting his authority and ensuring that the miracle served its intended purpose. The command was likely given to prevent the man from spreading news of the healing in a way that could hinder Christ's ministry. Jesus knew that premature publicity could stir up misguided messianic expectations, leading people to seek him for the wrong reasons, political deliverance or physical healing, rather than spiritual salvation. This passage also calls us to consider the gravity with which we treat the work of Christ in our lives. When God moves, when he heals, saves, or delivers, it is not for our glorification or to serve our agendas. It is for his glory alone. We must not trivialize or misrepresent his works, turning them into mere anecdotes or testimonies to boast about. Instead, we should respond with reverence, obedience, and a deep sense of responsibility to honor the one who has worked so mightily on our behalf. Furthermore, Jesus' strict warning is a reminder that the path of discipleship is not one of casual acquaintance with Christ, but of serious commitment. We are called to follow him with a sober understanding of who he is and what he demands of us. The warning also reflects the urgency of Christ's mission. His time was short, and every action he took was directed toward the fulfillment of God's redemptive plan. In our lives today, this passage challenges us to examine how we respond to the authority of Christ. Are we willing to submit to his commands, even when they are stern or counter to our desires? Do we recognize the seriousness of his calling on our lives? The leper was healed, but his healing came with a command that required obedience and reverence for the one who healed him. As we reflect on this passage, let us remember the words of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5, where we are called to be living stones, being built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Our lives, like the life of the healed leper, must be lived in obedience to Christ, reflecting his holiness and honoring his authority. There is no room for casual Christianity. The warning Jesus gave is a call to us all to take seriously the work of Christ in our lives and to live in a manner worthy of the calling we have received. May we heed the warning of our Lord, recognizing his authority and responding with the reverence and obedience he deserves. Let us be mindful of the gravity of his work and the seriousness of our calling as his disciples, living lives that testify to his glory and his power.